Hello YouTubers, RogueMonkeyJr here. So the Battlefield 5 open beta just closed. The devs have gotten a lot of feedback and they made a dev talk talking about the known issues and what's on the radar to fix, change, tweak, or whatever from now up until launch. So I wanted to share all that with you guys today. So without further ado, let's get stuck right into this. First of all, starting with the known issues. So in some instances, the Comoros felt unresponsive when calling in squad reinforcements or giving squad orders. That has been internally fixed. DICE is working on fixing some issues with the current bipod mechanic, which is god-awful in my opinion. There are some known issues with the display icons, especially with the ticket count, flags, and kills. You can't hear enemy footsteps in houses. That was internally fixed. That drove me absolutely insane. There were some input lag issues with a mouse on PC. Reviving a teammate may cause you to pick up his weapon and or he gets yours, the closest one, as being looked at. Some audio issues when capping flags, footsteps, and gunshots, which were sometimes just not there at all. Some server crashes and wrong flags in the server description. Sometimes the game brings you back to the deploy screen instead of the bleeding out screen after being killed/downed from certain situations. They didn't do a very good job at telling you if you were critically killed or why you can't get revived, so that's being looked at. There are some known issues with the squad reinforcements and the squad leader, so in certain instances I just couldn't call in my rocket whatsoever, no matter how much I tried. There was no way for me to call that in. Some issue which prevents players to use all class weapon and or prevent you to spawn with a specific class or with some weapons bought. Generally speaking, the weapon unlocks and all that was an absolute fiasco. You couldn't even modify your weapons during a game. You had to go in your company, and then if you unlocked a weapon, you had to go in your company, equip it in the company, go back into a game to then spawn in with it. It just wasn't very intuitive. The info displaying unlock requirements does not show in game somehow, only in the menu, which we've had issues with before for the longest time in Battlefield 1. You can't spot through windows, that's being internally fixed. Respawn delay time internally fixed. Aim assist snap will be removed for launch, so console players no more automatic snapping. The kill color option doesn't match with the skull/soldier name color. The spawn button doesn't show up in the deploy screen. That has been internally fixed. The camera doesn't get back where it's meant to be if someone aborts a revive or gets killed. So these are all the known issues that the DICE devs are working on or have already fixed after the Battlefield 5 open beta. And now we're going to look at what is on the radar from now until the launch of Battlefield 5. So the option to spawn with a health pouch will be internally tested. So if you don't know, in Battlefield 5, every class can carry around a health pouch to heal yourself if you're in a sticky situation. So they're going to look into everybody spawning with a pouch right off the get-go, as opposed to having to go to a medical station to get that health pouch for later use. DICE is looking to support a FPS plus low latency option on all platforms. Battlefield 5 might get a training map, most likely, they say. So we didn't have that in Battlefield 1 and a lot of people actually missed it. Planes are getting more tweaks, which were pretty weak in my opinion. Nimble tanks are coming to Battlefield 5. The HUD has been improved with some nice adaptive features internally that makes it react to bright backgrounds, or in certain circumstances you couldn't see your HUD whatsoever, and it was like, it just didn't look good at all. There will be some HUD customization coming post-launch. So in Battlefield 1, we got that with the July patch, the ability to reduce or really customize your HUD to your liking. So reduce the size of the kill log, chat log, all these different things. And that's going to be coming in Battlefield 5 a little bit after launch, which is great. I found myself missing that during the open beta. They're also looking at ways to improve soldier visibility. So a lot of people had issues actually like spotting enemies and differentiating them from friends or foes, and there was generally, like, it was hard to see. So the darks were too darks, the brights were too brights, the color saturation was a little bit too much, so there's a little bit of work to do there. The black shade over the reflex sight is being reduced, so it was way too dark. I heard it was for balancing purposes, but it was just way off. There will be an option to bind self-healing to a key of your own choice, which is nice. We didn't have that in the beta. The revive issues will be fixed. The I and O will be changed back to on and off in the options menu for launch. So I think that caused a lot of confusion. Not everybody knows the international symbol for on and off. So some people were having a hard time knowing what was on and what was actually off. So that's being fixed. Custom button mapping for console will be there. DICE will work on further optimizations for launch. My game performed pretty well, so that's good to hear that there's going to be even more optimization. More frames is always good. Points for using smoke grenades is on the radar, so that's going to incentivize people to actually use and spawn with smoke grenades. DICE will be sharing server coverage before launch, so details about that. I know in Battlefield 1 a lot of regions were left without servers and had to play in high ping regions. I think Southeast Asia was part of those regions that lacked servers, if I'm not mistaken, but that's going to be addressed. Hopefully everybody will have servers with decent ping to play on. DICE is looking at adjustments on the death flow or bleeding out. DICE plans to add smoke grenade launcher to medic class. They will also be changing the starting ammo and max ammo, so both +1 mag, which means if a mag is 16, you'd start at 48 and max out at 96, and attrition will continue to be monitored. Now, we all know that attrition is a very sensitive topic with Battlefield 5. Some people love it, some people hate it, so it's going to be looked at pretty closely. One of the circumstances in which I ran out of ammo often and I found myself like, just, okay, what do I do now, is in airborne, in ground operations. When you were trying to do a flank, it was very difficult because you had such limited ammo, and more often than not had to go back and just try to find a resupply box, which just wasn't a lot of fun when you had a nice flank off. So that's good that they're making the max ammo higher. They are considering changing the amount of supply stations. TTK is still being monitored, so a lot of people found it a little bit too fast. Some people found it just right. They are also looking at adding a manual lean option as opposed to always have it set to automatic, which is great. I much prefer being able to control my soldiers' movement and peeking a corner or not peeking a corner instead of having the automatic option, which in my opinion is the inferior option, and they are going to put more work into the vehicle animations for launch. So that pretty much wraps up that dev talk and what's being fixed, changed, tweaked, removed, everything. So let me know what you think of all of this, if you think that some of these are really good or really bad, and let me know everything and anything down in the comments below. And while you're down there, don't forget to hit the like button if you enjoyed the video. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, as I release Battlefield and other first-person shooter-related content pretty much every day. And as always, thank you very much for watching. I really appreciate it, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Have a good one.